How's it going, man?
So far, so good. How about you?
Good, good.
Ready
Ready
to
for
get
the
the season
season.
started?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Harbaugh era has arrived finally, and I remember last year we were talking about coaching and whether Staley will get fired or not. And I said I think if this Michigan scandal wasn't so serious, we should hire Harbaugh, no brainer. So I'm glad it worked out. I think he's the winning coach that we needed. He's a winner, period. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, he's a winner, and I think that the team seems different. Like going to training camp, they just seem more motivated and want to play and want to win. Compared to last year, where you had guys like Austin Eckler saying, "I just don't want to play under Brandon Staley anymore." So you don't have that feeling now. And I know people might say, it's just week one, but last year I didn't see that, at least, from the players. This year, it's just a different culture, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, he brings everything that we complained we needed last season. I mean, we needed to be tough in the trenches. We needed depth. Uh, just an overall tough mindset. Like the Ravens.
Yeah.
We're pretty much trying to be like the Ravens, but you know, with Herbert. So I'm excited for it. I've seen it too. I was at camp, Chargers versus Rams camp, and honestly, my buddy said the same thing to me. He goes like, looking at these two teams, it looks like the Rams are a high school football team. Like, like just the way they practice, the way they do all their drills. Like the Chargers were all completely organized. They had a structure. The Rams are just like off, like doing whatever they were doing. I don't know what.
And McVay's not a scrub. He's a good coach, and
Yeah, he's a great coach. He's a
I
great
mean,
coach.
there were videos of Harbaugh just literally carrying some O lines. I don't know
Yeah,
if you saw that. I was like, whoa.
yeah,
He's 60. He's not a spring chicken.
yeah,
But that was impressive for sure.
yeah. Just brought a totally different mindset. I mean, the guys seem locked in. They're all detail oriented. Harbaugh is detail oriented, and he's got them all, like that, and that's just great. And the practice versus the Rams, our defense really messed them up, man. Like we were getting turnover after turnover. It was fun to see, and I can't wait to see it in a real game now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that's going to be a big difference this year compared to last year is the defense. And, last year the defense wasn't great, if we're being honest. Just, injuries piled up, yes. But also just missed tackles, silly plays where you could have had a loss of yards, let's say, but they gained a yard, for example. Just stuff like that add up. But especially the missed tackles, I think, were a problem. You look at the inside linebacker room now. You got Denzel Perriman leading the group. Junior Colson, I think, is going to be big, big, big for this team. He's going to have a big year this year. He came from Michigan under Harbaugh and just set the tone for his career, I think, this year. And then there was Nick Neiman, Troy Dye, who looked pretty good. And then and Henley. And I think
yeah,
Henley, he's going to play this year, I think, because when I was at the camp, he was coming and signing autographs, and a guy asked him, "Are they going to let you play this year?" And he goes, "They're going to have to." So he's looking forward to being on the field. I can tell.
yeah. Henley looks great. Yeah, it drove me crazy with Staley's defense. It would be a third and short or a fourth and short, and our guys already lining back 5-10 yards,
Yeah,
behind. Yeah, yeah. It was just a disaster. We were always last ranked or second to last ranked with
yeah,
Staley as a defense. So yeah, I definitely see big improvements with Jesse Minter. Uh, yeah, and bringing in new players for his style, definitely. Uh, Even signing guys like Tier Tart, D line.
we needed that. Yeah,
We needed that, and you saw in the preseason game, he was already causing havoc.
hmm
So and with those, 4 edge rushers we have, we're going to be getting pressure. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So
That's gonna be a scary sight for offenses. I'll tell you that. I mean, last year we were watching, Thule and Mac on the same side, and already they were getting sacks. Now with Bosa added, I mean, it's gonna be scary hours for sure.
yeah,
I expect to see more of Thule this year. Healthy Bosa, assuming. I still expect to see a lot of Thule this year, lined up on the same side, either with Bosa or Mac, and they're just gonna wreak havoc. I think Derwin is going to be in a similar role as to pre-Staley, where you saw him more involved, whether he was blitzing the quarterback or more just everywhere on the field. And you just didn't see that from Derwin as much when Staley was the coach. I think it's going to change completely under Minter and Harbaugh. And this defense is going to be scary.
yeah, and we can't forget about adding Bud Dupree, another great pass rusher
Yeah.
there. Yeah, Matt Money Smith said something interesting about Derwin. He thinks that Derwin will change his role week to week instead of Staley had him changing his role in game multiple times, just putting too much on his plate.
Yeah.
And he thinks Minter will do it, correctly. So
Hmm.
that'll be fun to watch. Yeah.
I think it's just more organized, with this coaching staff. It's just organized. With the other coaching staff, I just didn't think it was a good hire to begin with Staley. And they were just everywhere on the map. Offensively, defensively, they were just everywhere. But yeah, I think I'm definitely excited to watch his defense. Fulton, cornerback, he looked good. He could be a lockdown back.
He looked amazing in the practice against the Rams. He had a pick or two. Just yeah, yeah, and in the preseason too. Did he play? I don't know. He played a little bit, I think, in the preseason. But yeah, he could be huge for us as a lockdown corner.
And already being put to the test week 1 against Devontae Adams. So that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and Asante Samuel Jr. We'll see how he does under this new coaching staff too.
Yeah. Aloy Gilman, I think, he'll carry on what he was doing last season onto this season. He always plays well against the Chiefs, Aloy Gilman, so you always expect him to, be ready for that matchup. But yeah, I mean, I expect big things from this defense.
Definitely. Yeah, one question mark may be AJ Finley as the third safety when they put Derwin in some different spots there.
Yeah.
But so far, so good. What I've heard about Finley. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the wide receiving core?
Okay, so let me just start off by saying something that Colin Colward brought up. He said that, and it's very true and a good point. Under Harbaugh, there has not been a team that he's coached where you've had a quote-unquote star wide receiver. With the Niners, it was Michael Crabtree. With Stanford, it was Doug Baldwin, and then he listed a couple of other teams. None of them were stars. You look at this wide receiver core. I like it. I like Ladd McConkey. I think he was a great pick. Kind of surprised that he fell to us in the second. Joshua Palmer, I expect to see a lot of improvement from him this year. The thing is with Palmer, Johnson, these guys, they need to improve this year, because if they don't, then the leash is short on them because of last season and their struggles dropping the passes and stuff. I think Quentin Johnston does a lot better this year than last year. And some people are saying Palmer's wide receiver 1. I honestly don't know. I don't know if anyone knows the depth chart right now, because there's just so much uncertainty. Like Ladd McConkey is listed as wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. And, some people are saying he's going to lead the league in target, and not the league, the team in targets, which I could see happen. But I think Quentin Johnston is going to be in a role where, yes, they're going to run the ball, but when you need a big play, he's going to be the one that has to make it. because let's remember that he was brought on to be the replacement for Mike Williams. Now is the time to show that. So I think he's going to have a big season, and he has to, because if he doesn't, that leash is short. So Brendan Rice, I'm really excited to watch. We need that speed on the team. And McConkey, I think he'll be in the slot position. I think he'll be used like Keenan Allen was. Of course, to a lesser degree, right? Keenan, he was incredible when he was with us. We're going to miss him, But yeah, I think that's the kind of role that McConkey is going to be used in. But in terms of the other wide receivers, Semi Fehoko looked good in the preseason. It's really up for grabs. Outside of the top three, I would say it's up for grabs. DJ Chark, I know he's injured, hip injury, missed practice yesterday. If he plays week 1, I expect him to have a significant role because he's one of the veterans on the wide receiver side. But yeah, it's just up in the air right now until we watch them all on the field together.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I do believe in Palmer from what I've seen in him when Mike and Keenan were out, he stepped up. My big question mark for him is staying healthy. He had injury problems himself.
Yeah.
But he could possibly be wide receiver 1 for this team. It's possible. And McConkey, yeah, a lot of potential. Great route runner, just like Keenan was. So you expect him to get open when you need to convert on a third down. Maybe even faster than Keenan because he's younger.
I think he is faster. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's just lacking that experience that Keenan has. But yeah, it'll be great to see him. I'm excited to see Chark when he is healthy because he could be the speed element that we've been missing. He's going to take on that X receiver role that Mike Williams used to have, and he's quicker than Mike Williams. 4.3 speed.
You think it's Chark that takes that role and not Johnston?
I think it's Chark that if he's healthy, healthy. Because last year the Chargers tried to put Johnston in the X receiver role. It wasn't suited for him. That's not his game. He's not Mike Williams. He's not a guy who you just lob it up and he catches it.
And I feel like that's what we brought him in to do, because they were constantly saying it's Mike Williams' replacement, but we never saw it come to fruition last year. So hopefully this year he's improved a lot, because we're going to need it late in games especially.
Well, this is a smarter coaching staff, so I think they're going to put QJ in positions where he'll be successful. Get him a quick slant. Get him those short little passes where he can get the yards after the catch. That's what he was so great at TCU doing.
Yeah.
So and Harbaugh knows that. Harbaugh played against him. QJ lit Harbaugh up when they played against each other.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's going to put him in that position, and I think to compare him to I'm hoping for maybe a Kobe Bryant type bounce back. When Kobe airballed those 3-pointers against Utah in the playoffs when he was a young kid, and everyone was so mad at Kobe, and then he comes back strong. That's what I'm hoping for QJ, because Bolts fans, they've been tough on him. They've been tough on him, and rightfully so. He had drops. He had a terrible season.
Yeah, that reminds me. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm rooting for the guy. I think he can do it, and I don't get these Charger fans that are like, he'll never amount to anything. He's trash. Give him a chance. He was a rookie.
I mean, you can make the NFL and be trash. It's like, the same with the NBA. People say, "Oh, this guy's trash," and that he's in the NBA. There's a reason for that. No, I was just gonna say there was a moment at the training camp. They threw it deep to Johnston. I think it was stick, and he caught it, and it was a touchdown. And then people started clapping. Yeah, QJ, you caught it, this and that. And he just turns around and starts waving. So, he knows, he understands that there's pressure on him. But I think he'll do better. I think he has the size and the height to be an X factor. And really, I think, is our main red zone target outside of Hayden Hurst.
Hmm.
So I expect to see him get targets in the red zone. And then as for Ladd, I think, yeah, he's a lot faster than Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen was never known for his speed. So what's going to be interesting to me is if he's put into that position of Keenan Allen, which I think he will be, how does Justin Herbert adjust? Because he's used to Keenan Allen's speed. All these years,
Yeah.
he's been in the league for 4 years now. He's used to Keenan Allen. So how he's going to adjust to the speed of Ladd is going to be the question.
Yeah, and they've had some practice time together. They did miss a couple weeks when Herbert was dealing with that plantar fascia injury.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be pretty interesting. Yeah, definitely. And another question mark. What do you think about this running back room?
Oh man, I keep going back and forth on this. People text me and go, "Okay, who do I draft?"
Yeah,
From the Chargers. I'm like, I don't know, because truly it's unpredictable. This is the most unpredictable depth chart and team I've ever seen. I want to say Gus Edwards is going to be used more on the goal line. We needed a big body, and he's that body. I remember last year we were talking about this, and I was saying maybe we should draft Audric Estime. Hate to see him go to the Broncos because I think he's going to be really good in the future. But I think Edwards is fine as a goal red zone running back. J.K. Dobbins, as long as he stays healthy, I truly believe this guy's going to be the RB1. It's just his health. If he stays healthy, he's going to run amok. Matlock, he's going to play fullback. I saw someone, he's going to play defensive tackle too. I mean, he's, I think, 6'2", 300 pounds. Harbaugh and Roman are going to want to run the ball. This is going to be a run-heavy offense, run-first offense. I don't think that's a secret. So from the two, I think Dobbins is going to get more yards. Edwards is going to get more touchdowns. Now, if Dobbins or Edwards go down, hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does, I think Kimani Vidal really takes a leap. Because if you give him the touches year one, just imagine year 2, year 3, year 4, it's going to really set him up for the future. But hopefully there are no injuries, and hopefully we can involve Vidal, and I think they will involve him in some sort of role outside of special teams. But yeah, I think Dobbins is the running back one, because you look at what they did in Baltimore. They were together. Dobbins was always run RB1. Then he went down. Edwards was RB1. But that's really when Edwards took over, is when Dobbins went down. It wasn't really a timeshare. This year, it could be to start because, Dobbins is still coming back from that injury. But eventually, I think he takes over the running back one position if he's healthy.
Yeah, that's the big question mark. Dobbins has a ton of upside. I mean, you see the talent when he's out there on the field. Something like he had something crazy like 6 yards per carry or something for his first couple years. But I do see it as a committee, like you said, just to keep everyone fresh. And that's what they tried to do in Baltimore, and Gus Edwards with the 12 touchdowns last year. That's a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah.
He is a good goal line short yardage back, that the kind that we needed. That like you said, we talked about, and Vidal has the potential. We saw in that preseason game I was at. He has some nice vision cutbacks. He's going to be a running back of the future for us.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah,
And it's impressive that Edwards had those 12 with Lamar Jackson as his quarterback. Just goes to show that this season he could have 12 or more. And also goes to show that, people kind of being more down on Derrick Henry because he's with Lamar. I don't know. I just think he'll do better with Lamar. So it'll be interesting to watch that tonight. But kind of like that's the kind of running back I wanted. Derrick Henry, because he has a size to be that goal line back. But Edwards is more than enough, I think, for this team, and also has a chemistry with Dobbins. But yeah, I really view Audric Estime as a mini Derrick Henry. So I'm kind of bummed out we missed out on him, but I think Vidal, he's shown that, he's got what it takes to be an NFL running back.
Yeah, I'm happy with this room. I mean,
Yeah.
you see Gus Edwards up close. It's like, okay, this is why he's Gus the Bus.
Yeah.
The guy is huge. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think, more purpose yards, it's Dobbins.
Yeah.
And then red zone, how should I say it? Like red zone attempts, I guess, is Edwards. So, yeah.
But interesting thing I noticed in camp, I did see Gus catch a little short pass and take it. I mean, you don't really think of Gus as a pass catcher, but
Right.
maybe they'll unlock that with the Chargers, which would be cool. And Dobbins looks great already, man. Like watching him run, he's the old Dobbins. The only question is if he stays healthy.
Man, if he stays healthy, I would say, this is a hot take, I know, but I think he'll be top 5 in rushing yards.
Yeah.
Not just top 5 in rushing yards. I think if this running back room stays healthy, if the offensive line stays healthy, that could lead us into the playoffs on its own, without even talking about Justin Herbert. That alone could lead us into the playoffs. Of course, the defense holds their own. But yeah, I think so.
Yeah. And speaking of Herbert, his 5th season in the O-line, what do you think about that?
It's just insane that this is Herbert's 5th season already. Like how time flies. I wish, I just hope he has a healthy season this year. Really has a healthy season and quiets down the doubters, the haters. There's just a lot of hate coming Herbert's way for nothing. I mean, the guy doesn't even talk, like he's just getting hate for nothing. And, I see these fantasy football rankings, for example, QB rankings. They have Herbert 19th, 20th. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like you see like top 12 QB rankings and Herbert's nowhere to be seen. But then you look at what Tom Brady and Peyton Manning said, two of arguably the best quarterbacks in the world. Manning had him at 3 and Brady had him at 4. I mean, these are two of the best in the world saying this. So I think this is his year to quiet down the haters. Now, yes, the receiver room isn't as good. Keenan Allen left, Mike Williams left, Austin Eckler left, but he has enough to deal his hand with. I think, like you said, Palmer should have a big season. Could be wide receiver 1. I think it'll be Ladd McConkey as wide receiver 1, but we'll see how that plays out. He's got guys to dish it out to, like Chark and Johnston and Brendan Rice. I really want to see Brendan Rice on the field with Herbert. I think he will make noise if he gets an opportunity. And then to your point about Gus Edwards, if he can be a passing back as well, that'll be huge for the team. I don't know if Dobbins will be, but see, that's what I mean about the uncertainty. Like last year, we knew all these positions and what's going to happen. This year, we don't. So if Dobbins is the passing back and both are the passing backs, you can see a lot of different game plans. It'll be very interesting to see Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Offensive line, I think a lot of people were surprised to see that we drafted Joe Alt. With the wide receiver room that we had prior to the draft, we all thought Malik Neighbors. Didn't happen. But I completely understand why we took Joe Alt. This is just, Harbaugh and Roman. This is their game plan. This is their game style. They're not going to change. And I'm all here for it. Let's see what they got.
Yeah. Well, like Greg Roman said, can you imagine Justin Herbert with a run game? And that's what we talked about so much last season. Give Justin a run game, give him an O-line, and that's what Harbaugh does. That's what Harbaugh does, and you will see his efficiency go up. You see Brock Purdy with the Niners. You can see what he does with all those weapons around. Herbert's not going to have those weapons, but you give him a run game in a O-line, and man, he's gonna make he's gonna make these receivers superstars if they're
Yeah.
not, and as far as fantasy drafts go, I hate to see the disrespect, but I've been picking Herbert all day long, man.
Hey,
Just let him fall to me,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
There was a draft we did like a couple of days ago, and it was a dynasty draft. And I'm just looking at how it plays out. I had the second pick. I took Mahomes. And then I see Herbert right there, second round. And I was like, it was like 2.9. And I took him. I was like, dude, a couple of years ago, Mahomes was first. Herbert was fourth.
yeah.
How on earth did I end up with Herbert and Mahomes on the same team? It's crazy. So just keep doubting them. That's all I'm going to say. And I mean, I get it. I get the concern that they're going to run the ball a lot. Austin Eckler said it when he exited the Chargers that they wanted a guy who's going to run the ball 300 times a season. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. These guys are going to run the ball a lot. But to say that he's not going to have an impact is crazy. There are going to be games, unfortunately, where Chargers are going to be down and they're going to need to throw the ball, or it's going to be an extremely close game. They're going to need to throw the ball. So it's just ludicrous to me that they're saying he's going to have no impact. Okay, keep doubting him. I mean, I'll buy the dip all day.
Yeah, me too. I think it's a bit of a recency bias, Herbert being injured and, just the way that last season went, just people were down on him and he'll prove them wrong. We've all seen it, so.
I don't have any concerns about Herbert at all. I think he's recovered from that injury from last year. The plantar fasciitis, he kind of downplayed it yesterday. So I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah.
If he's not concerned, I'm not concerned. So
yeah. So what are your keys to this big game versus the Raiders?
Yeah, it took me a minute to kind of come up with this. I guess number one is don't miss tackles. Zamir White, he's a monster. He could really get hot, and don't let that happen. I think that's number one. They have Alexander Madison too. They have some guys that can run the ball. Don't miss tackles. That's number one. Number two, they have receivers like Adams, Jacoby Myers, Brock Bowers. I think he's going to be really good in the future. Trey Tucker looked good in the preseason. But number one thing is you have to contain Devontae Adams. You contain Adams, I don't see the Raiders winning. That's, I think, the main thing. Because without Adams, really, Myers is good. Bowers is good. You're not going to win games without Adams showing out. Now, historically speaking, Adams always kills us. But hopefully this year with, Fulton and the new defensive scheme, we can lock him up. And then number three is the offense. I want to see, how does this offense play? Do we run? I'm assuming we're going to run it the first two downs, especially in the first half. Like we're going to just keep feeding Edwards and Dobbins the first two downs. But as the game progresses, what happens? If we have the lead, we continue running it. If we don't have the lead, do we continue running it and hope for, the Raiders defense to get tired, or do we start throwing the ball? It's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see how this offense plays. And just going back to the defense real quick, pressuring Gardner Minshew. I think that's key. If they pressure Minshew, if Thule gets to him, Bosa, Mack, these guys, but Dupree, like you mentioned earlier, it's still new to me that we got him, which is great. I think he'll be a big addition to this team. They're not going to get many yards through the air. Minshew plays well when he has an O-line that's good. When he's under pressure, like many quarterbacks, he folds. So they have to pressure Minshew. That was my other note that I forgot.
Yeah, those are all important. Number one for me is that Raiders pass rush with Max Crosby and now they have Wilkinson. Stopping those guys, seeing how Joe Alt does against that pressure. um, at the draft party when we selected, all me and my brother were the only ones cheering. We were at this bar, Chargers bar. We were the only ones happy because we are like, yeah, we needed an O line, you
Yeah,
know.
no one considers that until the season starts.
No, no. But I'm excited to see it. That's going to be an interesting matchup. Number two for me, the Chargers rush game. Uh, let's see it. Let's see how it looks. Let's see it rock and roll. Let's see it. You know, with that Raiders pass rush, with a good run game, you can neutralize that.
Yeah.
You know, put them on the heels. You know,
Yeah.
so they're not just sacking Herbert all day long like they did last year. You know, and number three, I'm gonna say stopping their run game. Zamir White, yeah. The Chargers of the past with Staley could not stop the run game, you know, and we had poor linebacker play. We had poor defensive tackle play. So let's see with these new guys, can we stop the run?
Yeah. That's a good point about Joe Alt. I mean, it's going to be fun. I think he's going to be on Crosby's side, so that's going to be really fun. Look, I mean, he's huge. If you see him in person, if you guys ever see him in person, he is huge. So Crosby should have a hard time Sunday, but let's hope he does, because if he does, then we likely win. We always play well, I think, against the Raiders when we're healthy, of course. But we have to win that first game, because that really sets the tone for us, number one. And then secondly, to shut these Raider fans up, we have to win. So,
we have to win because I'm going to be there, man, and there's going to be a ton of Raiders fans. I don't want to be in that sea of Raiders if we lose, man.
There was one tweet I saw, and I don't know if this is true. Someone was like, he buys season tickets. He's a Raiders fan, but he buys Chargers season tickets, goes to the Raiders game, and then sells off the rest. I'm like, dude, what? Like, why don't you just go? Even if you live in LA, it's like a 4-hour drive, 45-minute flight to Vegas.
Yeah.
What's the point of buying all those tickets?
Yeah, that's stupid. I'm actually I actually have a ticket to the Vegas game. So
nice.
Yeah, so if it's a meaningful game, it's the last game of the season, week 18. Yeah. I will be there. Yeah,
man. I hope by then we clinch playoffs, and it'll be so good to say that. Because if we haven't clinched yet, and it's like a do or die game, I'd be worried. In Vegas, I'd be worried. But I think by then we'll clinch. I just hope we win the division, honestly, more than anything else. I know the Chiefs got better with Xavier Worthy and Hollywood Brown and these guys, Samaje Perine. The offense got really good. But I really hope that we are able to win the division.
I think we have a shot with Harbaugh, and the Chiefs did lose some on defense. They lost the corner. So
I think I've learned not to doubt Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Through all these years. They still have Pacheco and Kelsey. Kelsey's getting older, but they have a rookie tight end, Jared Wiley. He looked really good. So I think he's up and coming. But offensively, they're very good. Defensively, there are holes that Herbert, Dobbins, Edwards can poke, and I expect to see that happen. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Sunday. I think this is a brand new culture, a winning culture, and let's just remember that every team that Harbaugh has coached, they have won. Yeah. So let's hope that within the next couple of years that, Chargers, that becomes a reality for the Chargers.
Yeah, I definitely always think back to his first season with the 49ers. They were, I believe, a 5-win team also the season prior, and he took them to 13 wins his first season. So
and good point. I think the over under here is 8.5 wins for the Chargers. I would smash the over there.
Yeah.
And then to the point of the Niners, in 2011, Alex Smith threw for over 3,000 yards. That was the first time he's eclipsed 3,000. And then J.J. McCarthy last year threw nearly 3,000 yards, 2,990, I think. So I think Herbert gets around there, if not more. It just depends on how many times they're going to run, what the score is going to be like. But I can fully see Dobbins and Edwards getting about 25 to 30 carries a game for sure.
Yeah. And the line for this game is -3 for the Chargers. I would smash that too personally, but yeah, we'll see, and it'll be fun to see. I can't wait to be at SoFi.
Look, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's a must win, because it's the first game, but it'll definitely set the trajectory for the season. No matter what, it will. And then you play in Carolina and in Pittsburgh, and then come home against the Chiefs. Though you could go 3-1 easily before the bye week, easily. So yeah, looking forward to Sunday though.
Definitely can't wait. Remember to subscribe and smash that like button. And if you're at the game, I'll be in Thunder Alley, so come say hi if you see me. All right, go Bolts.
Yep.
All right, see you later.
See ya.